Why did we choose gray? I don't think we should have chosen gray because, you know, gemstones, you need something bright. This should have been like a rainbow box or like a splatter painted box, something that, you know, speaks to the, you know, the colorfulness of gemstones. I don't know a gemstone that's gray like this. Really horrendous color for an unboxing episode of gemstones. I mean, maybe there's some quartz that's gray. There's probably some like gray diamonds, but when someone thinks of gemstones, they don't think of gray. We need a new box. Who do I talk to about that? Boom, lapis. Is it lapis lazuli or lapis lazuli?
You're asking
I need
me?
to, yeah, because my pronunciation is obviously messed up. All right, so we've got lapis lazuli today. Lapis lazuli is one of my favorite gemstones for a few reasons. Number one, I've seen it in so many different forms: cabochons, carvings, tiles. I think you could do a lot with lapis. That's why it's one of my favorite gemstones. I also really love that color, but I'm actually right now trying to incorporate more color into my home and doing so with gemstones. So lapis is always on the top of my list for future design ideas, interior decorating. You know, that color, it's just so vibrant, and you know, you can't help but smile when you see it. I'm hoping that the lapis is more colorful than this very sad looking box. What? That's so small. Is that it? Look how tiny that is. I was expecting something more, but I guess it wasn't that heavy. No, there's something buried in there. Box. So, I was right about the color. I thought it could be a cabochon. For those of you who aren't familiar, cabochons have this flat bottom and this domed top. I can see some inclusions in there that give it that kind of golden sheen, which we will talk about in depth. I can see that it's polished right here on the top because it's much shinier than on the bottom where it doesn't look like it's polished. Immediately when I saw this, I wanted to own this. I would love to have it as like a cocktail ring. Isn't that cool? Okay, so cocktail rings can just be like a big old ring. They're really popular, I believe, in the 1950s, or as a pendant, or maybe two of these. Shoot. Hold on. Butterfingers. I didn't drop that, I just pretended to. What I love about lapis is like that color. I mean, you can see that is the most bluest blue to me. When I think of blue, I think of this color. And what I like about it is that, you know, you see it in so many different carvings and there's so many different things you can do with lapis. Some stones, you mostly see them faceted. A lapis isn't like that. You know, you really can see it. I feel like it's a gemstone that you can use a little bit more in maybe different art forms rather than jewelry, and that's what I am always attracted to this piece. I love that blue color. What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? You may be familiar from sodalite. We did an unboxing not so long ago. It was a carved piece of sodalite into a horse. That was really neat. I see some yellow, black, maybe like an orangey color. I've seen a lot of jewelry with sodalite, but this might be one of my favorite things I've seen. But lapis and sodalite are often mistaken. Basically what you're gonna need is some pretty heavy gemological equipment. It isn't something that you can do just looking at it. Even as a gemologist, I've been in the trade 10 years, almost 10 years in the trade, and I, to this day, could probably not differentiate sodalite and lapis without the help of some pretty awesome and expensive heavy equipment. Let's dive in and learn more about lapis. Grab some popcorn. You don't want to miss out. It's time to get another gray box. Really? Yeah, you guys gotta get rid of this gray stuff. All right, what's in the box? Oh, okay, this is cooler than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be something gray and gloomy, like my boxes, and my set for that matter. Comment below and tell me what you think we should do with this set, because the black, white, and gray, I need some more color, guys. I probably just have a bunch of plants and flowers, because I have a green thumb. Can you see my green thumb? Really? I can't get plants? This is super cool. This is actually lazurite and has pyrite in it. Lazurite is actually one of the main components of lapis lazuli.
Look at this.
Another fun fact, if you have the Cis Gemology reference book, you see this right here. Familiar? Oh, you got a famous mineral specimen right here. It is obviously rough. So what's really cool about this is that you can actually see like the crystal structure and the crystal faces, which I like. Oh my God, look at that. Look how bright that is. I love that really, really bright. Oh, wow, look it, I'm matching. My director was like, you gotta wear this. I had a jacket, and he said, you have to wear this jacket. And I was like, why? That's so weird. Why would you be so concerned about the jacket? And now I understand. It's because of the color I'm wearing, or the color I'm looking at today. So if you can see, like, the darker blue kind of looks like my jacket. It's like that navy color, and you can see that bright blue. It looks like almost a cobalt blue. That is what makes me super, super happy. I love that bright blue. We can see some different matrix right there, you know, kind of like a more, I think that's more opaque, and that's a little bit more translucent. Also, you can see some pieces of pyrite. Pyrite is also known as fool's gold, and if you want to learn more about pyrite, we actually did an unboxing about that. Oh, and there's another piece right there. I think that's really cool. That gold and blue looks like a football team's colors.
I can't think of who, but yeah.
Notre Dame.
No.
Yeah, blue and gold.
And green.
Blue and gold. I'm not a sports fan. If you know of any other sports teams that have these colors, comment below and let us know. The history of lapis is actually pretty fascinating. The name actually comes from Arabic or Latin, and it means blue stone. Two of the most prolific sources of lapis lazuli are Afghanistan and Pakistan. Those are where you're gonna find, you know, these really bright blues. They're known across the industry as being major places to find lapis. Lapis and humans, the history actually dates back probably like 6,500 years ago. It's been around for a long time. Cultures in ancient Greece, Rome, China, Mesopotamia all valued lapis for its beautiful, vivid coloring. I'm sure with both of these pieces, you can see why. This is the reason I love lapis so much, and that I always try to incorporate it in my jewelry and gemstone collection, or even in my home. Lapis was actually used in prehistoric times to create jewelry. It was ground down to be a coloring agent for paint. Ultramarine, you may have heard of that. It's one of the most expensive coloring agents, and that's actually from lapis. You can also find lapis in churches. Oftentimes it's used in decor, in the Renaissance. I mean, this stone, for its color alone, has had a major, major presence in history and in art and design. So in the gem business, you know, there's not too many stones that are actually ground down for their pigment. Lapis is one of the few that I know of. I mean, you are probably not even looking at me right now. Your eye is probably just attracted to that bright blue. What's wrong? Oh, I get another box. Oh man. Holy guacamole, that's really heavy. Wow. I'm not gonna try and pick that up.
You can stand it up on that tiny...
I don't know, can I stand this up? Is it gonna crack the table?
Man.
All right, so this is a ginormous piece of lapis compared to, oh man, this is so hard. I don't know, I mean, this is like really, really heavy. Heaviest gemstone I think I've ever, wow. My production crew just dropped this very small and dainty gemstone on my lap. I don't think I've ever seen anything this big. I mean, I've certainly seen that blue color. That color, you know, we talked about the blue. That looks, you know, right there, that's a little bit more navy. This looks a little bit more like a cobalt blue. I think it's really cool how you can see the matrix. I like the stripes right here. I can see some, you know, some pieces right there. It looks like a fool's gold, which is really cool. Okay, so this is huge. I think maybe like 50 pounds. Could I make a necklace out of this? A slice this big, this is something that you don't want to carve. You know, I would never try to get more of these out of this. This is too beautiful. And when you see something this size, you know, that is valuable in its own right. I love the color. You know, the color to me, it looks like almost like an impressionist painting or something. It's beautiful. Reminds me almost of a Monet painting. You know, the way that it kind of bleeds from one color to the next. I see some lighter blues, some teals. I mean, it literally looks like someone on this side right here took watercolors to it, but they didn't, because it's from Mother Nature, and we're really lucky to have something. I don't know what the deal is with these sides. So yeah, I mean, you can see matrix right here. I would guess that the matrix this was found in would not be too different from this. I don't think a piece like this was just sitting out in the middle of the road for the lucky person who drove to it first. You know, this is probably something that took a while to mine. Mining gemstones is always quite the ordeal. It depends on how deep you have to go and what type you're mining for. I would never put the term mining gemstones and easy in the same sentence. Like, I probably wouldn't even put that in the same paragraph. And I've been in several mines myself. How many Renaissance paintings could this paint? Probably like don't know, I guess it depends on who's painting. Are they a prolific painter? Are they kind of a lazy painter? Do they like blue? I don't want to think about this piece being ground up. Lapis is an opaque stone. You're not gonna be able, you know, like a sapphire is transparent. Most sapphires are transparent. Sapphires that you put in jewelry are transparent. You're not gonna be able to get something off of this. And that's cool. You know, some people don't like opaque stones. I actually love it because this opaque stone, you're right, I can't see through it. You know, maybe it's not as shiny as a sapphire or an aquamarine, but that color is absolutely spectacular. That is why people are so fascinated with lapis, and that is why people have been so fascinated with lapis for so many years. You know, when you think of a sapphire, you're gonna see the light reflecting off the facets. There's still light reflecting off that stone, and that's because of the polish. What's also great about lapis is that you're gonna see, shoot, is there gonna be like a, how many times I've dropped things on this. So what's really cool about lapis is that it's actually not one mineral. It is a sodium, calcium, aluminum silicate. Some of these, you know, the white parts right here, and we talked about the fool's gold already, but the white part is actually calcite. So you're gonna get some coloring from calcite and pyrite. I think it's a really cool way to learn more about geology. And you're gonna see pieces of pyrite, which we already talked about, fool's gold. You're also gonna see some calcite in here, and that's where you're gonna get some of this white coloring. You can see some of it right there. I like stones that I can't just wear in my hand, but I can learn about. And I want to teach you and share my knowledge and passion of gemstones with YouTube. So one of my favorite things about lapis is not just its color, but it's the way that it's been used throughout history. Medieval monks would actually use lapis paint to make these exquisite manuscripts. And some Renaissance painters would actually use lapis on the robes of paintings that had the Virgin Mary. Okay, so I have to attempt to do a closer look. Is there insurance on this table? I worked out yesterday too. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's do a closer look. You've got 10 seconds to look for the pyrite, look at the color, look for the calcite, and then I'm gonna set this thing down. Number one, the coolest thing today I learned about was by far the use of lapis, how it was ground up into paints. And I mean, I think that's really neat. I would love to see a painting that had lapis paint in it. Another really cool thing about lapis, I love that pyrite, I like that shimmer. I'm not lifting this again, but I've never seen a lapis this big before. That's huge. Like and subscribe because you don't want to miss out on another big hunk of a stone. It's a hunka lapis. There we go.